welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Mom and Nostalgic Runner, and we're doing another Get Fit With Me series yoga edition. This video today, we are going to be doing the originator, the reason why I even started this channel. Well, the reason why I started doing yoga on YouTube to begin with, and then I, zhuzhed up a little bit, and we're somewhere else now with it. But through this routine is going to be by Yoga with Adriene. And this video just came out one day ago, so we were all over it. And it is a short wake-up flow, 15-minute morning yoga. So this will be great to get the day started and to get fired up for the rest of the day. So without further ado, let's get into it. So in today's practice, we're going to start in a nice comfortable seated position, getting in touch with our breath. Cross-legged position preferably, and from there, once we get in touch with our breath, then we'll go on to the next pose. In this cross-legged position, we actually are going to be doing a cat-cow variation. We go on to putting our hands into a prayer position and saying intentions for the practice, and then from there, we are then finally going to get some movement in as well. From the seated position, we are going to make our way to our first downward facing dog. And within that downward facing dog, we're going to pelvic dog for a couple breaths. And then from there, we're going to make our way into the front of the mat to our first standing forward bend. And then we're going to then transition into a mountain pose. And then from the mountain pose, we then are going to make our way into a lunge. And then within this lunge, we are then going to straighten our leg and kind of get a nice stretch within that. We're going to be doing that lunge and the straightening of the leg on both sides. Now, how we get there is going to be slightly different from the one side. So once we are in that lunge position and we straightened out our legs, we then are going to make our way to a tabletop position. And then we're going to do a gentle twist both sides within that tabletop position with swaying our hips. And then from there, we're going to make our way into a downward facing dog. And then from a downward facing dog, then we are going to make our way into that lunge, but on the opposite side. And then doing a From that lunge, we are going to make our way back into the tabletop position and quickly into kind of like a half plank. So our knees are going to be on the mat. And with this, we're actually going to be doing some push-ups with that. So girl push-ups, I'm using air quotes because I'm not sure what else you would call them. Or assisted push-ups, I guess we should say. Versus full push-ups being in a full plank position. And then from there, we're going to then make our way to our next pose. And the next pose is pretty much right away. It's kind of not quite like a cobra or dolphin, but kind of like a variation between the two, where we're going to kind of do half of a, or even call it half of a Superman, if you will. And this is going to be kind of balancing our core a little bit. And then from there, once we get done with that, we are going to make it into our first extended child's pose. From the extended child's pose, we then are going to make our way into a pose where we're kind of in the lion's breath pose, but not quite, more in a tabletop position. And this is going to be to stretch out your wrists. For me, my wrists are pretty tight, so this one's kind of actually a challenge for me, believe it or not. But we're going to go to that, and we're going to do that for a couple breaths before we go back to a regular tabletop position. From that tabletop position, we are going to make our way back into that downward facing dog. And that, I believe that's going to be our last, it's actually going to be our last downward facing dog for the practice. And then we are going to then make our way back to a seated position. And once we are in that seated position, we're going to do a gentle twist on both sides. And then from there, we are going to then go from a gentle twist on both sides as a stretch to then doing some movement where we start rotating back and forth but in a faster way to kind of get some heat into our body. And from there, that's going to be kind of one of the last poses before we conclude the practice for today. Hi, so that does conclude the practice for today. And you're probably like, girl, what? You look like you're about ready to go outside. Well, I'm actually going to go grocery store after this because this was first thing in the morning. So now I actually have to get groceries for the week so I can get ready for the week, which includes meal prepping and all that good stuff. I actually don't have to really meal prep most of my meals until like Wednesday. I am going to do my breakfast meal today as a meal prep, but fortunately, it's all in the crock pot. So, and that meal prep will last me for pretty much until I go out of town, because I'm going to be going out of town fairly soon. So there's that. Anyway, though, that does conclude the video for today. Yoga with Adrienne. Wake up, short wake up flow, 15-minute morning flow. How it rated, I would give it, I'm going to give it a 9. I want to give it higher than that, but I will just say this. I'm noticing lately with the newer practices that Yoga with Adrienne has been putting together, they are definitely more beginner based. I do appreciate that because it means she's, inviting more people to her channel and making it where it's all inclusive. And that's one of the reasons why I even liked her channel to begin with, because it was something I needed when I was doing less yoga. So now that I'm doing more yoga, it is not as challenging as I would like it to be, in my opinion. So that's why it's just a 9. I did like the part at the end where we're doing the rotation, because I love the idea of trying to get your full range of motion going before the day starts. So I did definitely appreciate that and the variation of that. Also, I will say this, I think her videos would be great for not only just morning flows. This particular video, I would think this would actually be good for if you're someone who works remotely like I do, this would be good for your lunch break or yoga. because you're not going to break too much of a sweat, but you are going to move. So I did appreciate that as well. But yeah, that does conclude the video. As I mentioned, I gotta go to the store today, and then I'm gonna try to run this evening also, get these videos edited. Also crock pot, and then I do have to log in briefly for work just to check what I did yesterday. So I am hoping after this week things will slow down, because I feel like this work week is going to be another week of just team too much. I've been, full transparency guys, I've been overwhelmed. Very overwhelmed the past couple of months. So even though I've been doing my own challenge to just get myself together as far as like the cleansing and all that, the detox, work has made it a little bit challenging for me to want to stay motivated in doing that, to be honest. But that's okay. We'll get past it. We will get past it like we always do. Anyway, I just wanted to be transparent for a second. I don't know if I'm going to keep this in or not. I just feel like I need to vent. But anyway, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner. Oh, one more thing though. With Yoga with Adrian, I will say this. I am hoping, because I mentioned a slight critique about how like it seems like a lot of her newer content has been geared towards beginner yogi people who are beginners. Minus the Halloween one. The Halloween one was kind of beginner-ish, like, you know, a little foot in the intermediate. So I was okay with that one. I do find in the past when she's done her challenges, like her New Year's challenges, that those did get challenging. So I'm hoping we get that for the New Year's challenges she has coming up. And also too, let me actually show some grace for her as well, because she's been at this for a long time. She has videos going back to 7 years ago. Like her channel is huge now, but it wasn't always that big. She started this a long time ago. So she's a long time yogi YouTuber who's been doing this for a very, very long time. Yes, now she's doing very well for herself, especially once, you know, the world ended. Everyone went to her videos because she was kind of like the main one who had stuff out there from forever ago. Besides the other person who I called out, Black Yogi Nigo Marie, she's another one. And then Yoga with Bird, I think, is another one too. I do some of her videos here and there because hers are she has a lot of unorthodox practices that I like. So every once in a while I do some of her routines too. But I just want to allow some grace because I feel like that critique sounded a little harsh when I said like her practices seem to cater way more towards beginners versus beginners / intermediate, like it kind of felt in the past. I just felt like her free yoga videos were a little bit more challenging in the past. And the past couple, 3, 4 of them that I've done have not been. So, and one of them wasn't going to be because it was for someone who, you know, was pregnant. She had one for pregnancy. So that one was going to be what it was. So I'm not really including that in the equation, including all the other ones leading up to it. But yeah, I guess, hopefully that doesn't sound too bad, but that does conclude the video. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel to get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.